The hardest thing about change, we say people never change, or people hate change, or I hate change, or they hate change, or what have you. Right? Change is something that we all take a look at and be like, yeah, generally this is something that we want and this is good. But when it comes time to do it, we're not super excited about that. We're not, it's not really easy. And then that's when we start getting into the, well, things never change and what have you. Granted, we are in a world right now where change is required. We actually kind of have always been in a world where change is required, but it is really required right now. The systems that we had to protect ourselves from the hard choices are gone now, thanks to many things that are going on right now. COVID, protests, what have you. So there's a lot happening right now, and it's really uncomfortable. Why is change so uncomfortable? Why is it hard that when we discover what the next way to go is, what the appropriate way forward is, even when this happens to me too all the time, and I'll talk about it. Why is it that when we so clearly see what it is that we need to do to get what it is that we want, or to have the world that we want, or to be the person that we want, but there is that block that is big enough to stop us from getting what it is that we want? And I do this all the time. There's been for years I just said, oh, I dream about doing this. I dream about starting this business. I dream about, moving to this place. I dream about taking this vacation. And then a lot of these things I just sort of dream about, they just never seem to happen. So why is that? Where is that disconnect between having what it is that we really want, and that I really want, and that you really want, and going and getting it done? I'm going to talk about that today, and exactly where that is, and how to, it's really not a big deal what this piece is, and how to pull this thorn out. It really is just a tiny splinter, but it causes a big infection. So we're going to get through it today. Anyway, I'm Owen. Thank you so much for joining today. I really appreciate it. Just a reminder, I'm here live right now, so say hello. I'd love to hear from you. And even if it's not live when you write on, just say hello. I'd love to connect with you. So anyway, when we get to this topic of this piece of change that is hard, I think about, it came out last year, the Chernobyl miniseries on HBO. Now, this is a graphic show for sure. It is about the nuclear meltdown of the Chernobyl nuclear plant in Ukraine, and how to this day, and for still, I guess, another 60 or plus years, is going to be uninhabitable in that area, because the meltdown let out so much radioactivity. It killed so many people and literally scorched the earth. And this, we hear about this, but it really is like one of the most devastating events that has ever happened on this planet, on the earth. How does something like this happen? And it's not some natural disaster, right? It is nature doing what it does when we attempted to control it without taking responsibility for that. I'm going to spoil a little bit of the end of this for you. I'm sure if you haven't seen it by now, you've had a chance. But the point is that what they discovered caused this horrific event was the fact that some people in the government and the regulatory agencies actually knew the specific issue that could potentially cause this to happen. They knew it was there. But in order to fix it, they would have had to make an admission on even the smallest of levels that the Russian government had made a mistake. Right? Now, granted, the circumstances under which Chernobyl exploded was a conglomeration of a number of things. So their idea was, maybe this little thing, we could slip it under the rug and we don't have to make a mistake. And what was the cost of protecting themselves from being discovered to have made a mistake? It was the cost of so many lives, countless lives, and ultimately the Soviet Union. We really, in many cases, equate the fall of it to a few things, but this was absolutely one of them, the destruction of Chernobyl. And they ultimately had to admit they made a mistake anyway in all of this. So what is it in all of this? It is the change. They knew the change they needed to make. They just needed to make one little adjustment to the nuclear reactor so that it wouldn't blow up and kill a ton of people. But they wouldn't do it because it would have to mean admitting on some level that you made a mistake. And that piece, that needing to avoid having to admit you made a mistake, is big enough, evidently, to cause a person to make a decision that puts other people's lives at risk. So that's a big deal, right? It's a big deal. This feeling of when I realize a change I need to make, I see the shame when I look at myself, even just moments before I made this decision, that self who was not making this change, that self who was operating under a different decision. This happens with relationships all the time. It's like, somebody, when someone's like, oh, why does this just happen to me? That countless times this has happened to me just, before. And I see in a situation like I should not be in this situation. I take a look at it. There's a little bit of shame when I look at myself before. Like, well, why did I put up with this situation in the past? And sometimes that has left me to keep people in my life that were not helpful. That has left me to stay at jobs that were not helpful to me. It has left me to stay in situations, like living situations, locations, what have you, anywhere. It has led me to make decisions that were not in my best interest because that feeling of having to admit that I had made a mistake, or even just facing that shame, not even have to admit to somebody else, just admit to myself, that with the knowledge that I have right now, I realize that I had been making a mistake, which is why I've got this understanding I need to make a change now. And in many cases, like I said, that has caused me to stay in a bad situation. It's caused me to stay stagnant. But when I do face that and understand that, I was making my decisions in the past using the knowledge and the information that I had, and I was doing the best that I could. I really was doing my best. I wasn't actively making decisions to harm myself. Then it gets a little easier to forgive myself, to understand that I didn't have what I needed, and I do now. And that I am, instead of making up for past mistakes, I am taking action with what I have at this very moment. And that's really what it is about how you get in action. That's really how it is about how you make a change. So here is what I do when I run up against this feeling to get into make a change that I know I really want to make, that I know will serve me, that I know will help me achieve my goals. And I want to get over that feeling of feeling shamed about what I had done in the past. So the first thing that I always do, I usually find when it comes to making a change and I feel uncomfortable about it, I'm using the word should a lot with myself. Like I'm saying I should go do this, I should make this change, I should move, I should talk to this person, I should start this business, I should write out my plan. The problem with should is it implies that the directive is being forced on you, that somebody else is telling you to do it, and that you believe on some level that you should do it, right? That doing it will be good for you, but you don't have your whole heart in it. It's that it's not coming from you, it is given to you. Instead, I like to say, I will do it. I will write out this business plan. I will block out that time during my day to accomplish my goals. I will change my schedule. I will clean my house. You see how I should change my schedule or I should clean my house is different than I will clean my house or I will change my schedule? There's so much more power in it when I say I will. And it really replaces a lot of that shame, because should also sort of implies that I'm not going to do it, right? Like if I'm going to do it, I'm just going to say, I'm going to go do that. But if it's I should do it, it's I know I need to, but I'm not going to. There's an element of that self-betrayal in there, and there's almost kind of shame in it. So just that word change alone, I find helps me get out of the feeling bad about who I was in the past and what I was doing in the past. And then the second thing is to just honor what you know now. Get gratitude. Feel gratitude for what it is that you know now. If you've got new information, if you've got a new insight or what have you, honor yourself for it. Be grateful for it. Say thank you for it. And understand that you didn't have it before. And it's okay that you weren't doing what you wanted to in the past. And then the last thing and the most important thing, once you have replaced should with will, you will do it, and you are grateful and honoring what you have now. And the next step is to get into action. Just do it. That's the piece. Make the change. Get into action and see how it goes. And just do a little bit. Just do a little bit and see how you like it. See how you feel once you start making some progress down a goal that you have kind of wanted to achieve. Okay? So first, replace should. Stop saying should and use will instead with yourself. Be grateful for what it is that you know now and get into action. Right? Now, if you're saying, oh, and I don't have a big goal or anything like that to work on, there's really nothing that I am focused on or a change that I want to make, then the best thing to do is take a look and ask yourself, are you currently connected with your passion? Like every day, do you feel passionate about what it is that you do? And if not, and you're feeling a little angsty, and I'm going to guess that if you've gotten this far and we've been talking about making a change, then maybe it is good time to get in touch with your passion and to explore that. So my recommendation around that is typically just spend an hour out of a day, carve an hour out of the day, give this hour to yourself. It's really giving yourself an hour. I like to do it in the mornings. And just give that time to just spend exploring your passion, playing around with your passion and doing what it is that you love. And if you don't know what it is that you're passionate about, then spend this hour just exploring, trying out different things, learning new stuff. Maybe at the very least you'll pick up something interesting you can pass around at a cocktail party. I guess when we get back to having cocktail parties. So anyway, if you want some more tips and whatnot to get in touch with your passion and to just get your life on fire, to really get some stuff moving that you wanted to for a long time, then head on over to owenjward.com. I got some exciting stuff for you waiting for you there, including a cool new ebook that I just wrote. So go ahead, give it a shot, give it a download, owenjward.com. Thank you so much for joining today. I hope that you are staying safe and healthy out there. I hope that you are loving each other, and I hope that you are loving yourself. It's so important. Let's talk. Let's do some cool stuff together, and I will talk to you tomorrow.